Hi folks, and welcome to another episode of The Art of Engineering. In this episode, we are doing musings on FT8 and CW. Let's go. Keep the plugs on the end of them, and the key to my PS5. Hi folks, and welcome to another episode of The Art of Engineering. Now, I hadn't planned on getting a video out this week. Been very, very busy, not only on the home front building the sauna, I was also very busy at work, and that's sort of curtailed my ham activities for the meantime. But came in here last night just to make sure everything was switched off and everything was okay, and thought, what the heck, we'll fire up the Hermes Lite 2 on WS-JTX and see if we can nab some FT8 QSOs. And I'm glad I did that. I managed to work a couple of DX stations. Most of you DXs are going to look at this and go, big deal, I do that every 5 minutes, but it was exciting for me. We managed to work Asiatic Russia and Fiji on FT8. And then, of course, once I'd started, I thought, what the heck, let's tune around and see if there's any CW happening. And there was a lot of QRS code happening, and I'm hearing more and more QRS code. So if you're reticent about trying CW because you're worried you're not going to be able to send or receive fast enough, there seems to be a real resurgence in interest in getting people onto that mode and encouraging them to pursue it. So I can't remember whether I sent the CQ or Brian sent it, but I managed to get VK2EBN, only 150 odd kilometers away. But we managed to have a little bit of a rag chew, which was very, very nice. And he's in Newcastle. And what happened after that QSO is it really got me musing about FT8 and also CW. And I guess the culture of ham radio. What was happening was, of course, when I looked on his QRZ page, there's a lovely picture of his station. And the station's amazing, and he's got a flex radio there. So we're doing this old school mode, the thing that started radio itself, really, CW, interrupted continuous wave. And he's using a side wacky. So he's one of those perverts. Just kidding, guys. Don't hit me with hate mail. Yeah, he was using a paddle, which is something that I can't do yet. So one day it's going to happen. But at the moment, straight key sort of guy. And we were using, both of us, SDR radios. So we're using modern architecture, circuitry for our radios, but we're using the most basic and oldest mode, interrupted continuous wave or continuous wave, Morse code. And that got me musing about what's happening in our technological space in general. Of course, you'd have to be under a rock not to have heard of artificial intelligence, and how that is also having a major impact on coding, on procurement of knowledge, of learning, all that sort of stuff. People are already arguing about whether it's a good thing or a bad thing or a bit of both. But the thing about that artificial intelligence, of course, is that it does a lot of stuff for you. It's very automated, which got me thinking about the fact that a lot of the time, the stuff we do, we don't just do it because we have to. We quite often do it because it's challenging and it's enjoyable and it's something that we can be proud of. There's machines that will make pictures, but people still paint pictures. There's machines that can play instruments, but people still learn the skills of playing an instrument, and they spend years and years, in fact, their entire lifetime, mastering that field. what's happening with ham radio, of course, is that that is the ultimate gesture of that act of wanting to do, despite the fact that there's things that are available that are a lot more modern. So in that beautiful culture of ham radio, you've got people using flex radios, SDR, direct sampling stuff, and then at the other end of the scale, there's still people pulling out their old tube transmitters and receivers. There's people that are building that equipment still. There's people that resurrect old boat anchors, World War II equipment. All that sort of stuff is happening across the entire space and continues to happen. And that's what's so wonderful about it. So I just thought that was something that was really worth talking or commenting about. The fact that we have this beautiful space that's ham radio that encourages all of these wonderful activities. Now, if you're wondering why I'm sweating so much, it's hot, but also I just got out of the sauna and feeling very chill, but also quite hot still. So that was my musings on FT8. I just wanted to show you something else that I'm very excited about. Just hold the phone. This, ladies and gentlemen, is my J38 American style key. It comes with the shorting bar, and it is a thing to behold. And it didn't come with this, it came with this Bakelite base, but it didn't come with this wooden base. Now, I'm lucky enough to teach a bit of timber technology, and I'm definitely not a master of that particular medium, but I am learning slowly. And we have a router table, so I got this off cut of wood that was in the scrap bin, and I routed the edges of it. And we also have a laser cutter, and I cut the call sign in. Now, call sign was higher than it should be. I've just learned about the laser pointer and how to actually place stuff on the laser cutter, but it was very exciting to get this key on a base that I think it deserves. And while we're at it, I might just give you a little bit of a tour of all the keys in the shack. And here you have it, folks, my very modest collection of keys. Now, I will end screen to a video I did, a short I did with my mate Chris, VK2AOE, and he certainly has a much more impressive collection. He didn't show me all the keys he has. He has a major key acquisition syndrome disease. Mine has only started. I think I've got it under control, but we all know I don't. When I got back into the hobby of ham radio, after like a 30-year hiatus, I had given away my PMG style key that I had, which I was most disappointed about. And so I did a video, link to the ham playlist below this video. And this was the first thing, one of the first things that I did was build this key. And it's made completely from bits that I got from Bunnings Warehouse. This spring, instead of being a tension spring, it's a compression spring. Later on, I added some brass fittings because it makes much better contact. That's a kitchen door knob. This is a handle for a drawer that I cut down. And this, believe it or not, all this paraphernalia that looks very steampunk is actually a device that holds a door open. And that's how I got my, my hinge. So that is the key. And I use this on my completely homebrew station that I built when I just got into the hobby. I wanted a completely homebrew from the key all the way to the antenna, and I achieved that goal and had a great time doing it. Well, of course, that key worked and it was a lot of fun, but I really hankered after something a little bit more snazzy, a little sexier, and that was delivered from Japan. This high mount key, it's an HK703 high mount, and it is a beautiful key. And I don't know whether the Hermes is plugged in or not, so I will not transmit again. I built a side tone for this so that I could hear it on the Hermes, and it's just a lovely key. But of course, once you've got a couple of keys, one of the problems you come up against is sometimes they have different plugs on the end of them, and the key for my TS520 has a different plug to all the other keys. It's a large stereo plug rather than the smaller 3.5 mil. So, you know, scooting around on the ham websites, and I can't remember, I bought this in Australia. It was, I can't remember what I paid. I don't really care. But it was, marble base. Once again, it's a high mount key. This is a HK 702 rather than 703. Beautiful key on a really nice heavy base with the marble. There is a small amount of damage which they told me about, which is this chip just here, but I just think it adds character, and I use this normally on the TS 520. High mount makes beautiful keys. Once we got ourselves those three, this came along very recently, and it's a J38 American style key with the shorting bar, and it works beautifully. It has a completely different feel to the high mounts, and I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's just different. It's a different fist. I just enjoy the variety. I'm finding it very hard to be faithful to just one key. This is a situation where a lack of faithfulness is not going to get you in a huge amount of trouble. And I love this key. We built the base for it, like I said. That's the call sign VK2AOE, and you can see how I missed the little ridge it should be below. Complete cock up. But you know what? Once again, doesn't it add character like all my stuff? And that's my excuse for all my complete stuff ups. And of course, the Dick Smith plastic fantastic key that I learnt Morse code on as a novice when I was 13 years old, and I was probably 12 when I started. And that key, though it looks like a toy, and it really is a toy, you can still use it on a transmitter, and we have used it on a Pixie, I think. And yeah, it'll send fine if you adjust it. You spend the time adjusting it. And of course, if you screw this down on a decent base so it doesn't move around so much, this would be a usable key. And that is it for the moment. This is my J38 American style key. I ordered this online and was very happy when it arrived. It had rubber feet on the bottom, and I thought, hey, this is going to be great just as it is. But when I started using it, as you start to transmit, it would start to jump. Like if you had a very light hand, it would probably be okay. But as I tend to send a little bit rigorously, the fact that the key was jumping was a little bit of a pain. Now, obviously, you could bolt this down or tie it down. I don't like to have a key that's tied down. I like to be able to slide the key around. I've got my high mount here. High mount's got a really nice heavy base on it, and I can slide it around wherever I want, and it doesn't move around. So the idea with this was I need to supply a base that's a little bit more substantial. And the other night I was at school, and I teach a little bit of woodwork. I will not admit to being, I'm certainly not a genius when it comes to working with wood, but we do a chopping board project, and I need to make sure I'm comfortable around the table router. So I thought, what better opportunity to do some professional development and also end up with something that I can actually use in the shack. So we got a piece of, I think this is Merbau, and it was sitting in the refuse pile, so it was chuck away timber. And I cut a piece off. I didn't even have the key with me. I just guesstimated, and I was hoping I'd get it right. And then I thought, well, why not etch the call sign into it as well? So we got the laser cutter out as well. Did a quick Illustrator file. Now it's got a little bit of a lip on it. This the way I've routed this, and preferably that VK2AO would have been a little bit lower, so I didn't position it well. But it is what it is. So the plan now is to get this key so that it's on this base and screw it down, and we'll have a nice, very usable J38 American style key. So tonight we'll chuck some varnish on this, and when it's dry, assemble it, and we will have a key that's going to be really schmick. And second coat. Okay, we have 2 coats finished on the base, and we need to mark out holes, but you know how I do things, dodgy. So I'm just going to line this up and think about how it looks aesthetically. I mean, I could sit it centered, and it just doesn't feel right to me. I think it's nicer to have it a little bit forward. I guess that leaves a little bit hanging out the back as well, which makes it less likely to flip on me. Creates a bit of a lever at the back. And I think that looks nice. So it could be the golden mean, who knows? But we'll get the drill out and we'll just drill some pilot holes. I was tempted just to throw these self-tappers in. I don't know where these have come from, but I'm going to use them and then probably find out I need them somewhere else later on. Wow, you're still here. Thank you for sticking around right to the end of the video. Hope I haven't bored you too much. Like I was saying, it's been very, very busy this week and I've got a very, very busy term. So I just want to keep sharing what's happening in the shack when something does happen. There's always that temptation to rush what you're doing so you can get the next video project in the can. I'm not here to feed the YouTube algorithm, but I do enjoy making the videos. But I have to be mindful of not taking up time that can go into the home brewing that I'm doing as well. So, phone always goes off at the worst moment. I'm looking forward to getting back on that SOTA rig. I've got some ideas about how I'm going to move forward with it. So I'm hoping that the next video will be either a test run of the rig in its present configuration. It might not be in its case yet, but I might actually get a QSO on it. I've done a receive on it so far in a previous video, but I'm hoping that the next video will be me putting it through its paces, probably nearby or something, but just seeing if it'll get out. And then hopefully the final part, which will be, I'm assuming it'll be a 3-part series, will be the actual transceiver in its box. And then maybe down the track, I'll take it for an adventure. 7-3, and I will see you in the next episode of The Art of Engineering.